world of ritualistic child abuse.
Witchcraft.
They would sacrifice animals.
Does it make you want to hate murder, or does it make you want to do murder?
Let's explore the darkness of mankind, one crime at a time.
Welcome back to Rogue Darkness, the podcast that uncovers how the misinterpretations and misinformation surrounding witchcraft, the occult, and other beliefs have led many to do unthinkable crimes. From ritualistic killings and the demons that live in all of us, to exploration of the macabre and delving deep into the unknown. Let's explore the darkness of mankind, one crime at a time. I'm your host of the Grim and Gruesome, Raven. Let's go rogue and get right into today's chilling crime, the gruesome and still unsolved case of the brutal massacre of the Evangelist family of 1929. On the night of July 3rd, 1929, Benny Evangelista, a known mystic and proclaimed healer, along with his wife and 4 children, were found brutally murdered by an axe in their home located on St. Aubin and Mac in Detroit, Michigan. It was reported that his wife and children had been bludgeoned while they slept in their beds, their heads crushed, while Benny Evangelista had been attacked in his study, his head nearly decapitated from his body. The grisly scene would soon give rise to mass panic and widespread fear among the locals, especially those who knew Benny Evangelista personally. But let's start off from the very beginning. A 19-year-old immigrant from Italy named Benjamin Evangelista arrived to the U.S. in 1904 in hopes of living the American dream. He proceeded to change his name to Benny Evangelista, which would be the name that he would be remembered by in history. Revered by locals as a mystic and healer, Benny Evangelista was the leader of a proposed cult in Detroit, which incorporated teachings from different religions, as well as the use of magic and herbal remedies. The Evangelist family received as much as $10 per reading that Benny conducted for his followers, in what many today would consider to be unorthodox methods of healing the mentally and physically challenged. And being in 1929, $10 would have been considered quite a lot of money in today's currency. So keep that in mind when considering why or who might want to cause Benny harm, especially if they believed his work was all a scam. Reportedly, in 1906, Benny Evangelista claimed he had begun receiving visions and perceived messages from God. Evangelista then went on to publish a 4-volume Bible that he called The Oldest History of the World, Discovered by Occult Science. In his book, Benny described himself as a prophet. It was reported that Evangelista also referred to his written Bible as the Sun, as he wholeheartedly believed it would shed light on the world and bring forth healing and truth to all who cared to listen to him. Within his basement, Evangelista constructed a sort of spiritual sanctuary consisting of wax dolls and figurines hung by wires from the ceiling, which depicted celestial planets. The basement would then be used as his church, in which he would conduct his teachings and proposed healings. Because of the high price tag on his healing sessions, Evangelista had quickly accumulated a long list of enemies, mostly individuals who believed they were being ripped off by his healings and believed that his entire work was a sham. Some individuals even reportedly claimed that he overcharged them for things like love potions, promises for cures, and that he would never deliver on what he had said that he would, which contradicted his teachings that led people to believe he would fully heal them or bring them what they desired. The night before the murders took place, on July 2nd, 1929, Benny Evangelista reportedly had made a call to the watchman of a house that was being demolished nearby. Evangelista had told the watchman that he had purchased all of the salvageable lumber from the wreck, since he was a carpenter as his day job, and he wanted to arrange for the wood to be picked up and then delivered to his home. The plan was that Evangelista would meet the delivery man of the lumber truck the next morning to pay for the wood. As fate would have it, though, Evangelista and his family were brutally murdered later that night, and the delivery man who was supposed to drop off the lumber was reported as a no-show. Evangelist had planned to have the money to pay for the lumber on July 3rd, but no cash was found in the home following the murder. This led many to speculate that the lumber delivery man could be a potential suspect in the axe murders, and that he had possibly killed the family as a means to run off with their money and then to sell the wood elsewhere, an act of greed. Others theorized that the family was brutally murdered by angry clients, or even cult members of Evangelist. The list honestly goes on as the possible suspects and who could have carried out such a heinous crime. It said that there was never enough evidence to determine who the killer or killers were, so this case is unfortunately still unsolved, even almost a century later. Although the massacre is still unsolved and heavily debated, many presume the lumber delivery man or the watchman for the demolished house had a play in the murders. It can't be proven, though, due to the lack of evidence and that forensics was basically unknown back then. So the unfortunate murders may very well remain a mystery for many more years to come. So that was the devastating and still unsolved case of the Evangelist family massacre. I know it was short, but let me know your thoughts on this case and if you think Benny Evangelist's involvement in occultism had any play in him or his family's murders. Or if you think it could have been a robbery by the delivery man that went horribly wrong. The world may never truly know what occurred on that fateful night. Regardless of how Evangelist made his money and got his name known, no one deserves such a horrific fate. If you have any questions or suggestions regarding this case or any others that I've covered, feel free to contact me at roguedarknesspod@gmail.com. You can also reach me directly on Instagram or Twitter at rogue_darkness. I'm always interested in hearing your thoughts on cases I've covered, as well as hear any suggestions you may have for future ones. All the links to the articles I use and reference in my episodes, as well as all my socials and contact information, are all down below for your reference. And if you like what you hear on Rogue Darkness, definitely please consider sharing this podcast with your family and friends, and also by leaving a rating and review on Apple iTunes or wherever else you can leave a review. It's a great way to help the show out and to get it more noticed. And as always mentioned, I do have a Ko-fi page set up, so if you ever want to check it out or to submit a donation to help the show keep going, the link is down below in the description for reference. Any support on there is always greatly appreciated, but know that it's never expected. And with that said, that concludes this week's episode of Rogue Darkness. The darkness is all around us, and I can confidently say that reality truly is more terrifying than fiction. Until next time.